Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do start, let us give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. Now, we had Deku. We also had the fact that he debuted as Iron Man, but people keep calling him Iron Lad. It's very clear from the images in the news, people are seeing somebody impersonating Iron Man. However, he's short, and the suit he's wearing isn't exactly, well, you know, that of a man. He's wearing an old Iron Man suit. He cut it down and did something to it to make it fit him. It's very clear this is some kid running around with Stark tech. And Rhodey, he did not like that. He went to go after the Punisher instead of flat out talking and subduing Izuku. However, Deku, he left, and Rhodey made things quite clear. Whoever is running around with Iron Man armor, Iron Man tech, give it back to Stark Industries. Hand it back over, and there will not be any repercussions. They will not tarnish the memory of his friend. And Deku, he was kind of alarmed. Pepper made things quite clear. She doesn't believe that this person means any harm. However, it certainly will be interesting to see how they perform. Now, Deku, he realized that James Rhodes doesn't know he has Iron Man armor, doesn't know who he is, or a single thing about him. And that somewhat worries Izuku. He wants to pop back up again, go back out in the armor, and see how things are. See how well the world appreciates him. I mean, welcomes him. It's just sort of strange. And currently Deku, he does a walk into the warehouse. It's been about a week, and Izuku, he does want to check on exactly what may have arrived today. And right now Deku, he does find a few things. Along with him, he's going to walk over and press a button. Right now him with a cart covered in tech, as he's going to wheel it into the elevator and going to turn, walking over and pressing the button, as it does at least lower him down into the warehouse. And Deku, he does at least walk out into the armory, where he currently does a turn and see a note on. I'm going to walk over, bring his hand down, and grabbing the note on the console. Him going to open it up and turn it around, saying that it's marked Pepper. And Deku, he does start to read. Pepper made things quite clear. Rhodey's opinion on Iron Man is not very good right now. He is going to be somebody who will be harder to convince. Tony gave him a lot of trust, but he has yet to earn hers or his, or the world's. Saving one person is a good start. Though, if he does plan to make Tony proud, make sure he saves as many as he can. Also, no, he is only human. And Deku, he does at least look down. P.S. Left something for you in the armory. Tony would have wanted you to have it. And Deku's turn to look around. He does get to see something weird. Him walking over to the table and asking Friday exactly what this is. 3D analyzer. What? 3D model projector analyzer. It is a sophisticated piece of tech that Tony Stark has developed. From my understanding and knowledge, it is what he uses to build mini armors. Now, Deku does get a press down to the consoles, and he does go to... Whoa. Now, Deku, here's a turn. Him seeing two gloves, as he'll walk over and put both of them on, staring at his hands as he does get somewhat flex his fingers. Him walking back over, as Rhino Friday does get a load in a Iron Man model armor. And Deku, he does get a stare on at it. And Friday does get to inform him about what to do. And Deku, he actually is kind of intrigued. Right now, him going to grab onto the hologram and begin to pull it apart. And Izuku, he sees the inner workings of the armor. He's seeing its guts. And right now, Deku, he's quite happy to have this. And he does it until Friday. He wants her to open a new slot for him, label it as the Mark II project. And Friday does get to understand. As currently Deku, he does get to sit there. And right now he's going to bring his hands up. Him beginning to mess around and try to design a Mark II. Since the Mark I, it's salvage tech. And this will be his own original armor. Now, with that being said, currently Deku, he does toy around for about an hour. Him is a lot more intrigued with how in-depth this hologram actually is. And Deku, he does at least want to try and call Pepper, talk to her a bit, and see if he can get something he knows he might need. Though he already knows how difficult it might be just talking to her about it, since he's essentially asking her for Tony Stark's heart. Now, Deku obviously does understand that he does have a limit with the power source right now in the Mark I. So, he's thinking, is it possible he can find an alternative? I mean, at least give Pepper a list of things that he might need and see if she can get them for him? I mean, designing a power source will be complicated, but it shouldn't be impossible. Though, we'll have to look into that a lot more. Let's see. But for right now, Deku hearing a sound. Turning his head as Friday is going to alert him that currently there is a bank robbery in progress, and the people in charge may be using advanced tech in their theft. And Deku, he currently is going to turn, him telling Friday that he'll respond. And currently Deku is going to fly out of the armory. Him a lot more intrigued about what to do. And he is at least trying to talk to Friday about what exactly is going on. Her currently using the systems available on the private server to give Izuku a heads-up display showing him the information. And Izuku, he is trying to run some numbers. He's also trying to understand what this tech might be. And currently Deku, he is running through it in his mind, as he currently is going to fly through the air and eventually arrive at the location. Currently the men are driving down the highway, and Deku, he does come flying down. As and the man, he does at least turn and stare at the Iron Lad, as everyone wants to call him. And Izuku, he does bring his hands up. Him going to try and think, as they're actually going to fly out of the way and dodge out of the air, when the man tried to attack him with a laser. And Deku, he currently is going to roll back in the way and bring his hand up. Him going to blast the weapon, as Rhino is going to blast right past the guy. Him hitting into the ceiling as debris is going to fall. The men driving through it as Deku is going to turn and fly out of the way. And currently Deku, he does going to fly back around. Him flying in fast and right past them. Him Rhino going to actually turn and bring his hand up. Him going to blast directly into the engine block as the vehicle, it does start to at least have a small explosion go off. Now, Deku, he's going to watch the car currently going to turn and flip. Him flying forwards and catching onto the vehicle as it actually turn and set it down. Deku doing so with a lot of exertion. And right now Deku, he currently is going to watch one of the men going to actually turn their head and see Deku. As he does, going to bring his own hand up when the man went to turn. Currently the man going to turn and bring up a weapon as Deku going to reach down and grab onto it. Him going to actually bring up his own weapon and turn theirs, holding his palm in their face, and telling them, if they're going to give up, now would be a very good time. And the man is going to let go of the weapon. And currently Deku is going to look up front, as the two men here are currently injured. And Deku, he does this going to turn, bringing his hand down. Him going to rip off the door and going to scan the man, checking the man's pulse and find that he is still alive. Though from initial scans, he is pretty messed up, and he will need to go to a hospital. And Deku's going to turn and look at the other person. Them are going to hold up a weapon as Deku, he at least is going to bring up his left hand. And the person, they turn staring at him, their face covered in blood. And right now they do just going to let go of the weapon as their arm is going to fall limp. And Deku, he actually had to turn and run around the other side, him ripping off the door as the police have arrived, and Deku does check the person's pulse, which, right now, is not very strong. And Deku hears a rip of the seatbelt, him gonna turn and pick the person up, as is a yell to the police officers that this man needs immediate medical evac, and he has to at least turn and fly up into the air, him heading to the nearest hospital. Now, Deku's gonna drop the guy off. I'm gonna turn and leave as some people, well, they are staring at him. And Izuku, he's definitely a lot more happy. With Iron Man's tech, he has opportunity. But there's a lot of things in his head that doesn't make sense, doesn't add up. I mean, something is clearly wrong. With Iron Man gone, and, well, him being Iron Man, why was that a thing? Why is he doing this alone? Pepper supplies him, and Rhodey should have been a mentor, right? He just thought that he'd meet James Rhodes and the two would talk. But that didn't happen. Tony is one of the smartest men on the planet. And he didn't give Izuku a mentor. Somebody like War Machine. There are a few things he can think of there. But the deeper he dives into it, the more strange it gets. He's just getting his... what's the right phrase? There are tons of these, but he's just getting his toes wet. That one sounds very adequate for the situation. Let's see, Izuku. Try to think. Okay, simple answer and explanation. Tony Stark didn't tell James Rhodes about him because why? Simplest answer is because Rhodey, he would not have approved of a 15-year-old running around as Iron Man with Iron Man armor, weapons, gadgets, because he believes that he'd be egotistical. He'd be too gun-ho and reckless. He's young, dumb, and may not live up to Tony's reputation. The fact that he died only made this worse. But there's another situation there. Pepper never told Rhodey either. So clearly, it's not that. Rhodey's very... he's military, so there's that. He understands following the laws, regulations, and guidelines. The idea of putting a 15-year-old in danger goes against Rhodey's own ideology. He's a protector, a hero, and he wouldn't allow somebody to get in harm's way without at least proper training, or until he thinks that they're ready. Rhodey wouldn't have thought that he was ready. So that's another thing. He's already adamant about him handing back over Stark armor, tech, Deku taking off. And currently Deku, he does try to think about a third option. And as he's flying through the air, it does make him question something. Tony Stark, he didn't tell Captain America. He didn't tell anybody. For all intents and purposes, the only person who knows he wears his armor, who knows who Iron Man is Pepper Potts. One person. One person at all. So, if he was Tony and he was trying to let him know something, what would he do? One person knows your secret identity. Not two. Not two of the people he trusts the most in the world. Okay, so if that's just two of the people, then there's Captain America, the Avengers. Does even Jarvis know? Jarvis was there, so he does probably have records. So there is that. But if Captain America doesn't know either, he don't just step up, give him proper guidance, help him out. That's just Captain freaking America. He's the boy in blue, heart of gold. But, okay. He probably wouldn't have thought he was ready either. That on Deku's mind. And Deku, he's going down a bit of a rabbit hole. The only reason why Pepper Potts might know his secret identity is because something is going on inside the hero community. And that doesn't sound good. And Deku, there currently is where James Road does come flying down. And he currently does to cut off Izuku, him flying right in front of him as he actually does his own spin and turn. Now, War Machine is fully facing Izuku, him still flying backwards as trying to bring his arms up, him deploying the flaps on his arms and legs as if to fly towards Izuku. And Deku, he currently does bring his hands up, him trying to take evasive maneuvers by opening his own flaps as the two are flying backwards. Rhodey going to catch up and currently grab onto Izuku as he does actually hold him up in the air. And currently, the two, they do both somewhat start to spin. Whenever the two do both stay each other back out, their actions where Rhodey does at least hold Izuku by his armor and tell him he needs to hand over that armor. His face ain't going to open. Because right now, he is not deserving of it. He doesn't deserve to even wear it. Where did he get it, and who did he buy it from? Now, they just stare up at Rhodey, and currently, he is trying to think about what to do. And right now, Friday did give him an option. It will take a few seconds, but they can override his armor. Hopefully, shut it down for a second, and whenever it does reboot, he'll still be up in the air. But that's just the thing. If Deku turns off his armor, that's going to be a problem. His faceplate's open, and if he does shut off his armor, how long does it take for it to reboot it on its own? I mean, this isn't as just simple as pressing a button and then just pressing it again, or unplugging it and plugging it back in. Rhodey will fall, and he's concerned about that. Now, the man is going to stare at Izuku, waiting for a response as Deku, he does go to do one thing. He has to activate it as you know Rhodey's entire screen goes blank. Him just staring at Deku as he currently starts to feel heavy, falling through the air as Deku's at least fly down. Him grabbing onto Rhodey as is to fly him to a building. Him going to actually lean him against a wall like he's a 4x4 as he has to tell him. He'll be honest with him. He's not too sure why any of this is happening yet. But Tony Stark trusts him with his armor, and he's not going to fail the man. If he doesn't like that, then just make sure to leave him alone. He knew it would be more than a second, so he just shut off his armor. It's going to reboot in about 2 minutes, and that's enough of a head start for him to get away. Don't follow him and don't track him. Now, currently Rhodey, he does get a bit annoyed, as Deku's a turn and go to walk away, out of his point of view, as currently the man is a scream in the armor about how he doesn't deserve to wear the armor. And Deku, he doesn't fly off. And right now, there's a few things going through his mind. The weapons he saw on display there. Advanced, but energy-based. It's an interesting idea. Maybe if he can look into it a bit more, he can improve the, well, actually put something on this armor. Though, if he does study that tech, he'll be able to make his own energy beams. At least something similar to... No, repulsor tech is still better, but some sort of heating element. It could help him bust through walls. At least... No. The repulsors can do that job, but he needs a multi-tool. That's who can make the armor. That's what Iron Man does. Right. Just invent a tool for a situation. Then took his mind. And currently, he is at least going to turn and talk about it to Friday. He wants her to pull up something for him. Pull up James Rhodes' current armor. As right now she's at least going to do so. And Deku, he does see it. Images are start to flash on the screen showing his armor during their encounter. And Deku, he gets multiple angles. And he's actually able to see a lot about his armor's design. Him currently going to walk over and stare, bringing his hand up and thinking. The US military did quite a lot to that armor. Okay, so let's see. I'd put everything I can possibly imagine into that armor. Everything short of a nuclear fucking warhead. So, what else did they put in that armor that you're not thinking of? Okay, so his flap technology might be better and improved. Aerodynamic, possibly that. And that's just one thing that you know about. Every armor is superior to the other in some way. The previous iteration is just that. Something needs to be better. Okay, Zuko. Do you need missiles? He could definitely use missiles. Especially if he encounters, well, hopefully some actual supervillains. And not powerful guys like the Hulk. Yeah, he's not too sure about a Hulkbuster yet, but maybe he'll get there. With that on Izuku's mind. And currently, he does study a bit more about Rhodey's armor. As somebody, they saw Iron Man today, and they were not happy. Whatever is going on, the fact that he's taking on Tony Stark's armor is not good. And that can cause many, many problems. No one knows how Tony Stark truly died, but that's just the thing. He does. He knows exactly how Iron Man died. He was there. He, well, saw it happen. But no one can really prove that. And that's the funny thing. He knows every little piece of the puzzle, and they don't. All they know is the shrapnel in his heart killed him. Isn't that just irony? The man without a heart died because of his heart. Now, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.